added. So naturally those slides will differ with the one that I have already shared with you long ago, maybe about 10 days ago when we started the class on 28th. I shared you a PPT which consisted of the slides for the entire discussion on unit 3. All right, now we may continue where we left yesterday. Yesterday I was explaining you the disadvantages or limitations of IRR. This was explained, and thereafter somebody asked me if there is something called fake payback period through which we can assess or we can arrive at a tentative uh, IRR. So the question that somebody asked was right. I explained that question yesterday. Still, if there is any doubt, how do we go about? I can repeat that. If you look at the limitations of IRR, one of the limitations was that it sounds a bit tedious calculation. Like you need to work it out at various discounting rate, 10%, 12%, 13%, and then only you come to two rates which are closer to exact IRR, and one is with positive NPV and one is with a negative NPV. So this is what we close our discussion on. However, in order to arrive at an approximate rate, there is a procedure. I'll explain to you the procedure, and also I'll tell you why is that procedure, why to adopt that procedure. Those of you who are a bit good at mathematics, if you try to see the payback period and IRR, do you find any relationship between the two? Those of you, I'm asking specifically with those who are good at mathematics. Do you see any relationship between payback period and IRR? Any answer or no? Can anyone, explain? Or if I get no response, let me assume that none of you, as of now, roughly how many of you are present now? It's about 60 of you. None is aware or none has any idea about the relationship between payback period and IRR. I'll tell you, if I make a statement that IRR is reciprocal of payback period, does it make any sense to you? Okay, fine. Even if it does not, go back to this slide, like come to this slide, that is approximation of IRR. This I am discussing, approximation of IRR. If you wish to find out approximate rate at which value will be equal to NPV will be equal to 0, you first calculate payback period. What you do? You first calculate payback period. It will be 3 years, 3.5 years, 3 years, 6 months, 4 years, any number, any figure, it doesn't matter which figure we are talking about. Let us say it is, because we have already calculated payback period for several projects, 2-3 projects. Let us say payback period is 3 years and 6 months. 3 years and 6 months. So in mathematical terms, what does it become? 3.5 years. 3.5 years. What you do, you look at the life of project. Life of project naturally will be given in the first column in various rows. If life is 10 years, you will have 10 rows. If life is 20 years, you will have 20 rows. You have worked out payback period, it is 3.5. The next step that you take is that you look at the life of project. Suppose life of project is 5. So you keep your finger at year 5 and move towards right side, that is towards column. When you move towards column, you will certainly come across a figure which will be equal to not exactly 3.5, a little more or a little less. Could be any figure, 3.5, 3.67, anything. Wherever you come across a figure which is closer to the IRR that you have worked out, it will be naturally up to a particular percentage of discounting factor. That discounting factor is approximately equal to your IRR. Then you have an idea. Let us say that figure is 21%. Then you try it at 21% and you try it at 22%. There are chances that you will get exact IRR. You already have payback period of many projects. You already have IRR of many projects. Try to verify it even right now. Do you have those tables with you which I sent you 2-3 days before?
Yes, sir.
Do you have those figures with you? Those
Yes,
tables
sir.
with you? Can you access those tables? Let me access those tables and I'll explain to you how do we go about those tables. I'm just opening those tables. Present value interest factor. Okay, these tables, this table, you will not find that table here. This table that I sent you is not the one that I'm referring it to you. This is present value of a. See, what is the title written here? Just one second. I'll check. What is the title which is mentioned on the top of first page? Present value interest factor. Yes, present value interest factor is only mentioned. You will find another table of present value in the books, which will be the title of which will be present value of an annuity. I'm repeating, present value of an annuity. So what is the difference between these two tables? The one that you have and the one that I have referred to you, because you might have certainly referred to that table several times in unit number 1. What is the difference between two tables? Present value factor and present value of an annuity. This is not something very good. This is somehow, I mean, disappointing. Tell me now, in your first year, in your first semester, any reference was made to tables or not? Come on, tell me either yes or no. While discussing unit 1, any reference was made to any table or not?
No, sir.
Sure? You attended all the classes, or maybe if not all, at least 60-70% classes?
Yes, sir.
Basically, I'm typing something. In the chat box, I am just posting. All of you are required to write Y or N. Nothing more than that. Each one of you is expected to write either Y or no to the question that I have posted in the chat box. Just write yes or no. Nothing more. Okay, each one of you write as fast as you can. How long does it take? A second only. This Y and N will also, constitute your attendance. You need not to type your name, because your presence has already been recorded by typing this word N or Y. If this is the case, I must have referred to or at least taken the name of table several times. Don't you think it was good on your part to tell me that we have no idea about which table or what are you talking about? I would have shared with you all the 4 tables and explained to you the relevance of that table or those tables. without making any reference to those tables, there is hardly any numerical question that you may be able to solve, uh, perhaps in all the 5 units. Suppose I ask you to solve a question for calculating net present value at a particular discounting rate. Without the availability of table, can you calculate net present value? You can calculate, but it will take very, very long time. My question is, suppose I ask you to calculate net present value of a project. The inflows are not like I have written 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh. Inflows could be anything, 1,35,690. Will you be in a position, or can you easily calculate the net present value without making any reference to the table? Then why you did not share this concern with me before? Anyway, it will take time. I need to, scan the tables, post it to you. If you are prepared to wait for about 2-3 minutes, you wait, let me scan it and post it. Or shall I continue teaching, or I should share with you the tables?
Share the table.
How many of you just bought or have access to any book on financial management? Talha Jamal. Talha, have you got the book? Talha?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. How about you, Zainab? No idea. Arfan?
Not yet, sir.
Arfat?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Hamza? Hamza Mashood? Are you around, Hamza Mashood, or not? Yes, switch on your camera, Hamza. Hamza Mashood. Yes. Have you got the table? Sorry, book of financial management? Switch on your mic also, bhai. What is it? Have you got access to any book on financial management? This is very strange situation. It has been almost 1.5 months, perhaps June. We started our classes at 28 June, I remember. If you forget about June, July, August, maybe over 2 months now, and you had no idea about which book you need to refer to. Even if ebook is there, this Varis has written ebooks. I don't mind. I'm only concerned about the book, whether it is E or D. At the end of that book, tables are there. Each one of you should have, okay, instead of wasting time on such lectures, this sermons I should call, let me just give me a break of about 5 minutes. I'm sitting here itself. I'm just going to fetch the book from which I have sent you one table. I'll do one more page consisting of 3-4 more tables. Just hold on. Wait, I'm going to send you. Let me bring the book. साहब ने टीवी के बारे में कुछ बताया नहीं था, ऐसे कैसे प्लानिट। I have just now sent you, I'm back now. I have just now sent you the a copy of those tables. It is in 8 pages. Now access those 8 pages. I have just mentioned page numbers so that instead of saying, no, I have not uploaded. I have sent you on the WhatsApp. I have WhatsApp in the group. You can open those pages. Could you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have numbered those pages because instead of referring to table A or appendix B or C, D, something like that, that would have been confusing. So each page number I have numbered starting from 1 to 8. I have numbered them sequentially. Now look at page number 1. Look at page number 1. It is future value interest factor. Page number 1 is future value interest factor. What does this mean? If you deposit 1 rupee today, if you deposit 1 rupee today and forget about it, it is the only deposit at a particular percentage, let us say 13%. Every year it will grow. You are not depositing again and again. Just once you have deposited and that's it. And you are getting 13% return. What will be your, what amount will this accumulate? 30 years, 30. What is the figure against 30 years at 13%?
39.116.
Okay, 39 rupees approximately. We can say 39 rupees. Okay, if the same money is deposited at 40%, 40, what will be its value after 30 years?
24,000.
24,000. Okay, hold on. If the same value is deposited at 24%, after 30 years, what will be the value?
634.
634 or say 635. Now look at 24 and 40. Period remains the same, that is 30 years, but at 24% it is 635, but at 40% it is 24,000. How many times it has been multiplied, by what volume it has gone up? 24,000 versus just 634. By what?
40 times.
40 times. And by what margin or by what difference the interest rate has changed from 24 to 40%? It is 16%. Interest rate has gone up by 16%, but the value has gone up by 40 times, 4,000%, isn't it? So if you look at this table closely, either table number 1, page number 1 or page number 2, lot of things you can learn. Right now I am only explaining you the table, then I'll explain the relevance with respect to the project appraisal. Now look at page number 3. The title is future value interest factor of and the difference between these two, the first one, the page number 1 and 2 or page number 3. The difference between page number 1 and page number 3, either 1 or 2 or page number 3, difference between these two pages, 1 and 2, let us say. In page 1, you deposited 1 rupee only once and that was all. The table that talks about on page number 3, that every year you are depositing the same amount. Every year you are depositing rupee 1. If you deposit rupee 1 every year, what will be its value at the end of 30 years? At 13%, 293. Okay, but if you deposit rupee 1 once only, at the end of 30 years at 13%, it will be only 39. Page number 1. Page number 1, if you look at these two simultaneously, it will be 39 and it will be 293. Fine. That means that page number 3, page number 4, Also page number, no, up to page number 3 and 4, these are known as annuity. Annuity means every year amount is deposited. On page number 1 and 2, amount is not deposited every year, it is deposited only once. Now, what is the relationship of these two figures which I have referred it to you with respect to the calculation of IRR? Table 1, sorry, I mean annuity should be applied or simple table should be applied? In case of IRR, we will refer to present value tables which are given from 7, 8. So page number 5 is just opposite to page number 1. There you are calculating future value, here you are calculating present value. What will be the present value of a rupee after 30 years, 30 years, if the rate of interest is 13%? How many paise?
दो पैसे.
Hardly 2.5 paise, hardly 3 paise, 0.026. And if the rate is, for example, let the rate remain 13% and we change years, and year is, let us say, the time period is 10 years. What will be the value of after 10 years?
3 पैसे.
So what is happening here? When the time increases, the value decreases. When the rate increases, the value decreases. Now come to page number 7 and 8. What is this happening on page number 7 and 8? It is annuity. That is, every year you are getting the same amount. You are getting same amount every year. If you receive 1 rupee every year for 30 years, let me repeat it, it is important. If we receive every year continuously for 30 years and the expected rate of return is 13%, what will be the value of this amount? 7 rupees and 50 paise. 7 rupees and 50 paise. Now recall some of the newspaper items, some of the advertisement in newspaper by financial companies such as insurance company or pension scheme company. So any offer from any bank, or they say you deposit so much every year, at the end of so many years you will get so much of money. On the face of it, it sounds 1 crore, 2 crore, but you see the real value. How much money have you deposited? Every year you are depositing 1 rupee. How many you must have deposited in 30 years?
30.
30. If you convert their present value, what will happen? So that
7.
means reference of table is a necessity. Without this table, it is difficult to calculate. Again, go back to page number 5. Page number 5. Inflows are given, discounting factors are also given. So we need to only multiply these discounting factors. Suppose these are not given. These are not given, so we need to calculate them. Calculation will consume a lot of time. Therefore, the reference of table should be or is provided in the examination also, and without which no calculation will be possible. It will be possible, but very, very tedious. Okay. Once again, if I ask you, can you calculate any of these figures? Suppose stay on page number 5. Continue to see page number 5. Look at year 5 and rate 10. Rate 10. How do you arrive at 0.621? Is it possible for you to calculate it using using calculator?
Yes, sir.
Which figure will you divide by which figure? Tell me.
Sir, we will use 1 divided by 1.15 जो भी हमारा rate है.
1.15, correct. to the power. If you simply divide 1 by 1.1, it will be 0.909. Because
Yes, sir. Again, we will divide 0.909 by 1.15, and we can do
alternatively,
this.
1 divided by 1.1, 1.1 to the power 5. So you calculate 1.1 to the power 5, and if you divide that figure, if you divide 1 by that figure, you get this figure, 0.621. So at least calculation should be known to you. You will not be required to make these calculations. No, it is not a class of mathematics. It is a class of financial management. So you will not be required to draw this table or arrive at, but you will be required to know how to use this table. Of all the 8 pages, a different page than what you should have used, there will be problems, isn't it? Will there be a problem or not? Therefore, which figure, why do we calculate, how do we calculate, and 1 or 2 calculations you can verify, and then you should understand what is the relevance of this table, in which situation should this table be applied. Present value table or future value table? First thing one should remember, should you apply present value table or future value table? Second thing, present value of single series or present value of annuity. Similarly, present value, future value of single series or future value of annuity. These 4 systems, these 4 bases should be known to you very well. If you cannot, then reference to this will be difficult. And also, the interpretation of all these tables have to be known to us. Let me just check. Go to page number 3 once again. Look at year 20 and percentage 10. Year 20, percentage 10. What figure do you see?
57.25.
57.275. What does this mean? What does this mean? How would you explain it to? Any? Yes, please go ahead. You are. Okay, if I have understood correctly, you are right. If we deposit 1 rupee every year for 20 years, if you deposit 1 rupee every year for 20 years, then the sum of those 20 rupees, because in effect, how much rupees will you deposit? Every year you are depositing 1 rupee. In 20 years, how many rupees will you deposit? 20. It is simple, but the value of those 20 rupees will be 57 rupees 227 paise. 57 rupees or 28 paise. If you deposit 1 rupee for 30 years, I'll repeat, if you deposit 1 rupee for 30 years and interest rate is 40%, how much will this accumulate to? How much will this accumulate to? Can you imagine how many rupees did you actually deposit? What was the actual cash outflow from your pocket? How many
40.
rupees?
40
30.
rupees.
No, 30. Years are 30.
Okay, so 30.
Isn't it? In effect, what was the, you deposited only 30 rupees, and what value has it become now? 60,501. Can you see any relationship between 30 and 60,000? Similarly, if you move leftward, that is decreasing rate of interest, decreasing rate of return, 60,000, then just immediately closer to this is 28,000, then 12,000, then even 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, isn't it? So what is happening? The amount is decreasing at much faster rate than the interest rate. Similarly, amount is increasing at much steeper rate, much steeper rate, much more steeper rate than the rate of interest which are moving. So these are some of the interesting facts that you should know about the present, about the future value, and also about the present value. If your concepts are clear about this, only you will be able to evaluate any financial offer that somebody may be making to you. On a personal note, I can share with you, I also receive, a lot of people, visit me also, offering certain policies. You deposit this money towards retirement, you will get this money. So I ask them to sit maybe for 5-10 minutes, not even 5-10, whatever they say, I'll enter in the Excel. By the time they finish their offer, I'll use the Excel command and will tell them that your policy is offering me minus 2% return. So initially they won't agree, because they don't go into such calculations. They only show you a rosy picture. At times they are attractive also. I don't say that each time they are bogus, each time they are loss making propositions. At times they may be attractive also with various factors. But once I tell them that this particular proposition is resulting into minus 3% return, so they won't agree on the face of it, because they do not go into such calculations. I ask them, you come back, I'll share my desktop with you. If this is the future value of money that I am saving, I am giving you, this is the present value of money that you will give me, and as a result it is minus 3% or minus 4%, minus 2%. In turn I am losing. Then they will come up with, it is covering the risk of death, risk of insurance. So the conclusion would be, okay, these are good if somebody is willing to die, but if somebody is willing to remain healthy, then these are no more financial. What all I am saying is, any evaluation of any financial proposal, financial correct tables. If you cannot apply correct tables, your decision making will be incorrect. Now all the four tables are with you in a sense on 8 pages. 8 pages, 4 tables, because each table is into 2 pages, starting from 1% to 40%. On one page 14 to 40%. So you look at these tables closely, and also should know how to make these calculations. It is also equally important. Do not go for the calculation for 30 years, or for just go calculation for 2-3 years. Whatever is whatever message is correct, or method is correct for second year, third year, fourth year, same will be true for 40 years, except that you need to make 40 times calculations. But don't do that. You have already attended the classes of Microsoft Excel, and you have done advanced Excel, what was the spreading model or something, I don't remember. Use system and make the calculations. But you should know how to calculate and how to apply in which situation, which table, and its meaning. You should have, I'm sorry, you should have told me much earlier. I was making a reference to the table and you were just keeping silent. All right, now we go to what we were discussing, unless you have any question on the table that I have shared with you. I was referring to approximation of IRR. I gave you an example. Okay, suppose your calculation of IRR is 3%. So, and the life of project is 5 years. Life project is 5 years. At 5 years, if we move on to, just 1 second. 5 years, if we move on to page number 7, you can say, where do you find 3? 5 years, if you move 3.05, you find it 19%. Refer to page number 8. Refer to page number 8. Move to the column, row number 5. 5 is the life of year, life of a project. 0.5 at 19%. 3.127 is 18%. So if your payback period is around 3.5, 3.6, so it will lie somewhere in 18 and 19. So this is how you can make use of table and arrive at an approximate rate using payback period concept, instead of trying at various permutations and combinations, that is at 15, 16, 17, 18. Several times you try, it will consume a lot of time. So you arrive at an approximate rate and then do this. One can argue that I can try at 2% and 40%. You can do that. By interpolation, you will get an answer, but that answer will be very, very far off from the exact IRR because the gap between two rates was very high. If the gap between two rates is just 1%, there are chances, I mean, the closeness of your exact IRR will be much, much higher. You can use that formula which I told you. There are other simple formula also, but for that formula, we must work out IRR at two closest rate, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16. Then you can get the exact IRR. Then something else we need to talk about was capital budgeting in practice that I'll take up tomorrow. Before that, before I close, just tell me if there are some questions that you need to ask.
Hello, sir. I am audible.
Say it again, please, a bit louder.
Sir, I am audible.
Yes, yes, you are. You are. Please
Sir,
go ahead.
Sir, can you go to the slide number 28?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Here it is. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, here is the IIR is 17%, 20%, and 80%. Then if we, sir, if I wrong, then make me correct. Sir, if we put this 70% as a PV factor, then we will get the NPV is equal to 0. Am I right, sir?
Yes, but this figure that I have worked out is approximate only because it will not be exactly 17%, 17 point some percentage. Yes.
Yes,
You are
sir,
right.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, does it mean IIR is that the annual rate of internal rate of return is 7% because we are generating a profit of 7% and 10% we are considering discounted cash flow?
No. It's good that you asked this question. Nothing called as 10% at all. There is nothing which we can refer to. See, also we cannot say about the profit. What are these figures? 1 lakh, 1,50,000, 2,50,000. What are these figures? Are these your profit or something else?
No, sir, it is in inflow cash.
Yes, you are very much right. These are cash inflows. So one thing that we have to clear from our mind that whenever we talk about, we will be referring to cash flows only, not the profit. This part is clear. Now let me come to 17% or 20 or 18%. This only means that the inflows that we are getting at different time periods. We need to match them with 5 lakh that we have spent as on date. Because this 2 lakh, this 1 lakh, this 250, they have lesser value, lesser time value. If
Yes.
we take a rate of 10%, we get a positive present value. If we take 12%, still we get, if like this we continue increasing. Let us say at 17% or exact 17 point some 2-3%, 17.85, whatever is the exact calculation, it is equal to 5 lakh. That means 17.5% or 17% is a maximum rate at which we can borrow money. Suppose you finance this project from some money, borrowing. So you will pay to the lender. You will pay some interest. How much interest can you pay? Maximum you can afford to pay 17%.
Okay, sir.
Maximum.
Clear.
If you pay more than 17%, your wealth will be eroded. Why wealth will be eroded? Suppose you pay 18%. So net NPV will be negative.
Yes.
If you pay 15%, NPV will be positive. So this is what the interpretation of the 17, 20 and 10, 18 exact. You may find out the exact ones and then we will discuss it tomorrow because you may have another class.
Yes, sir. Sir, then
yes, go ahead.
Sir, then why the higher internal rate of return is desirable to select a proposal of
No. Higher internal rate is not desirable. Internal rate of return only is an indicative figure. If this project will result in this much percent return. Suppose a project is, showing you 20% IRR and you are obtaining funds at 12%. So your wealth will go up by 88% differential. If a project is giving you, your borrowing rate remains the same, that is 12%. If the project results in 22%, so your wealth will grow up by 10%. If IRR is 30%, so you will get 28% more. So that is why a project with IRR is preferred.
Okay.
You may note down all these questions, and tomorrow tell me, I will be able to explain you more on this.
Okay, sir.
Now, because you need to join another class, you can leave the class.
Oops, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.